Welcome to another episode of the Donkeeshow. Today's guest is the vocalist to Houston soul band The Suffers. It is my pleasure to welcome Kam Franklin to the Donkeeshow.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us today.
I don't
know why I felt like doing that, but yeah.
I'm glad
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
So I'm excited for you because today is actually the day your new project, solo project, came out.
Yes. So Afropunk premiered it today. It comes out to the world on Friday, and I'm excited about it because it's such a different side of me, but at the same time, it's very much so a big part of me. So it's cool to share this weird, awkward side with the world.
I heard it, and I think it's amazing. It's dope.
Thank you.
I think your voice gives that mellow feeling. It was cool. It was very cool. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Are you working on something?
I'm always working
or something like a full-on thing? A full-on project?
So right now I'm actually working on a full length for myself. I have no intention to rush through it. I'll take my time on it and we'll see when it comes out. But the things that I've learned from doing this project and everything with The Suffers is that the more time I spend on the actual product, the better it turns out. So
when did this one come together, the one you just put out today?
Oh, wow. So I started recording this last December. So not December 2017, but December 2016. I had a little mini, we'll say a breakdown. Like okay. I'm one of these people where I don't have very many emotional issues, but when it comes to stress levels, like I have to make sure that I am not trying to take on everything. Otherwise, like I will explode. And so, not explode, but like shut down. And so, Christmas Day of last year, all this stuff had happened. And so, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to hop on a plane to LA and go visit some of my friends out there and not tell anybody that I'm leaving. And I think I told one person that I was coming. And as I was there, I just slowly started running into all these friends, some that were from Houston, some that were from my visits through Los Angeles over the years. But I realized like I had never really enjoyed going to LA. You know how everybody has those cities that they like going to? And for me, I was always New York. I want to move there, blah, 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 blah. You know, screw LA, I don't like it. And honestly, I was there for 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, let me vibe it out. And everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, the weather's always perfect. It was cold, it was rainy, it was so uncomfortable. I didn't even know Los Angeles got cold, but it was like 40s, you know, most of the time that I was there. But while I was there, you know, I'm there smoking with my friends, having a good time, and I mentioned that I had always had this dream of covering Change by Deftones and doing a project that reflected that genre of music. And my friend was like, well, shoot, like, let's explore this. Yeah. And so over the course of about a week and a half, we laid down the ideas. And then the last few days that I was there, like, I just went through blunt in hand and just kind of like made it happen with him. His name's Lucas Gorham, and he's from Houston also, but he goes by Heaven and works out there now. But yeah, we made it happen, and he ended up linking me up with this dude named Daniel Linus that I had actually worked with on a different project with The Suffers, but he has mixed for everybody from Diplo to Kanye West to A$AP Mob, and for this, I wanted something that would sound distinctly different from what I sound like and what I've done with The Suffers. And so he ended up being the right choice for this. And yeah, I'm very happy with the way everything turned out. And the responses that I've gotten so far have been really great. I kind of forgot how much people love the Deftones. I mean, like, I love Deftones, but it's one of those things where, you know, because the song came out so long ago, you kind of forget what those songs meant to people. And so
Yeah.
I've been getting so much communication about like how nice it is to kind of hear them brought back in a new light.
It's good to go in memory lane sometimes. So.
Yes, definitely.
Speaking of memory lane, how did you and the Suffers come together?
We started in 2011. Adam Castaneda and Patrick Kelly, the bass player and the keyboard player, had this idea of just starting a fun reggae cover band project. And the idea was for us to cover popular songs in a reggae, rocksteady, ska form and just have fun with it on the weekends. And it eventually transformed into what it is now when we started realizing, oh, people got their own original song ideas, and a lot of us were kind of getting bored with playing covers all the time, and we're like, okay, well, we jam like this and we play like this together, like why aren't we trying to do our own stuff? And so we got to a point where we just started exploring it, and one song led to 2 songs led to an album. So
Since it's a lot of y'all, how many are y'all?
we started off as 10, but there are 8 of us, and it's the same 8 that have been there since. Yeah.
When creating, how do y'all make the final decision? Is this like majority vote type of deal?
Oh no. For the most part, yeah, it's a majority vote, but sometimes like it just doesn't make sense. And so if you have an idea that you think should be there, you gotta fight for it sometimes, and sometimes people just don't care. But
You gotta box it out with people.
not so much boxed it out, but I definitely have had some long drag out arguments about very small things in songs. But sometimes I'll win, sometimes I'll lose, but none of us are gonna release a project that we don't all believe in. And I mean, for every argument that I've lost as far as arrangements are concerned, I'm still always happy with the song. And if I'm not happy with the song, that to me is a sign that there's still something wrong. And it might not be like, oh, I didn't get my way, but maybe there's something that I'm hearing, maybe it's the rhythm, maybe it's whatever. Like today, there's a gospel song on our next album that'll be out this summer where I was hearing something really small that, the band didn't notice. They were like, oh, this is great, this sounds awesome. And I mean, I grew up doing gospel, and I was like, if I don't feel it in my chest, it's wrong.
Yeah, because gospel comes from the soul, right?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't feel it. And so I'm just standing there and with the engineer, and he's making edits, and then we finally get it to this spot where I was like, ooh, there it is. All right.
Okay.
All right, I can go home. So yeah, I'm excited for people to hear it.
I'm excited too. If you were doing music, what would you be doing now? If music was not in the picture.
Oh, man. So I used to say that I wanted to be a judge. I wanted to be a federal judge because growing up in the neighborhood.
At a federal level?
Federal level, because I knew that at local level I could have small impact, but I knew that at a federal level I would have more of a voice to support people that looked like me towards, abolishing things like the criminalization of marijuana or, things like that. And I mean, it's one of those things where I knew how much work it would take, but I had to stop when I was working for this attorney, and I realized, like, to become an attorney, you have to be able to argue both sides to graduate law school. And at the time that I was working for this attorney, he was a defense attorney, so he would support everybody that had done something terrible, from child molesters to murderers. And the thing is that he has to defend them, you know, and most of them tell the truth to him, and he figures out how to get them out of it. But the thing is like, I didn't want to be a part of this at all. And when I thought about it, I was like, I could join the other side, but I was like, this isn't for me. Like, I don't want the stress that comes with this. I want to do music. I want to do music more than any of this. And the only reason I was really committing to that at the time was because I thought that my music career was over. And so once I realized that I just had to give it one more go, it kind of changed the trajectory of my life.
Interesting. So you mentioned earlier you went through a rough patch, and you created this amazing thing that came out today, which is called Numero.
Yes.
What advice would you give to any up-and-coming artists right now?
I would tell them to embrace the rough times. I would tell them to embrace the good times and just, take it all for what it's worth. But for more than anything, to know that it's not always going to be good and it's not always going to be bad. And I know that sounds very generalized when I say it like that, but I mean, it's very true. And it's very easy to think that because you go through such a long period of negativity that there's never going to be any type of light at the end of the tunnel. But there is. It's not always going to be bad. And so with that, I had to learn that even though there wasn't always going to be people rooting for me, or there wasn't always going to be money to help me like pursue these goals, if this was what I wanted, I had to do what I had to do to make it happen, be it getting additional jobs, hustling in whatever way possible, getting as much education as I could and learning as much as I could and listening as much as I could, instead of trying to be that voice at all the parties, talking all that the knowledge and whatnot. And it's so easy, especially when you're doing well, to kind of get caught up in hearing your own advice. But it's something that I kind of always fall back to. Like we had a session like a week and a half ago with Paul Wall where he was helping out with one of the interludes on the album, and he's just giving me all this advice, and I'm just like, wow. Like, I had no idea that he was the first rapper on the national, I think, committee for the Grammys. Like, that to me sounds insane, considering how long the rap category has been around. But to know that we're in a position to where we have someone on a local level that's so knowledgeable about how that process works, it's one of those things that I was just like, I could have totally missed out on all this knowledge if I had opted to just yap. And so I just smoked the blunt and just listened.
Well, that's that too.
Yes.
What can we expect in 2018 from Kam Franklin and the Suffers?
Oh, man. So 2018, as far as my stuff is concerned, this will be out on Friday, and I will hopefully be touring on this at the end of the year. After our stuff is done, Suffers are dropping new music this summer, and we'll be touring for the rest of the year, hopefully to as many places as possible. And then just working on new music and working on getting better, and hopefully just working on setting an example for young and upcoming musicians that are trying to do what we do.
Dope. Thank you, Kam, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
The Donkeeshow is behind you and the Suffers always, so
thank you.
Thank you.
I was about to actually look to see if it was because I wasn't listening. I was like,
thank you.
But thank you
for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Peace. Now a word from one of our sponsors.
This is Erin Rogers with Rogers Silvera here with your copyright information. Hopefully by now you've heard Kam Franklin's cover EP. It's fantastic. And if you ever wanted to do something like that, how would you get the rights to do it? The rights that you need to make a cover song are called mechanical licenses, and you can do that by going to Harry Fox Agency or by tracking down the publisher and calling them. The good news is there's a set cost for that. You can cover anybody's song and they can't tell you no, and it's 9.1 cents per song per copy. So if you wanted to make 1,000 CDs with one cover song on it, $91. Thanks.
Hosted by Bentley.